really wrap up, close to our closing, and I hope that Moe is also gonna be here soon or joining us already. But now for the wrap up, I will invite Myla Leguro, who holds a master's in peace studies from the Kroc Institute for International Peace Studies at the University of Notre Dame. She was one of the co-founder of MPI and its first director. She has worked for Catholic Relief Service, CRS, since 1991, one peace and development project in Mindanao, and now is the peace building technical advisor for CRS Philippines and acts as justice, peace building, and social cohesion focal point for CRS Asia region. Welcome, Ate Myla.
Thank you, Danny. Greetings of peace to everybody. I hope you are still here in the virtual gathering, our virtual anniversary party uh, for MPI's 20th year. So to me, it's so overwhelming and it's so elating because I have been one of those actually who were part of that small group that talked about this dream of MPI. There was not even a name yet. The dream was actually to set up an institute that will actually be a space for Mindanaoans to actually learn about peace from their own again, experiences of their culture of peace workshops, being able to actually create a space where they will continue to learn and continue to engage because war in Mindanao that time was still waging. It's so hard. It's a hard task to wrap up, but I hope that I'll be able to do that. And I really like to use the beginning metaphor of Atedeng, which is really about this is a dream. And it's actually a dream that came about because a small group of peace builders believe that there is an alternative for war and violence in Mindanao. There was this small group of people who actually went to the US and tried to figure out what could be done in terms of setting up a peace building institute. Small group of dreamers with the help of mentors then, such as John Paul Lederach, also invited others to be part of that dream. So eventually we all knew that the narrative and story of the Mindanao Peace Building Institute was that it did not just become a Mindanao Peace Building Institute for Mindanaoans. Even on the first year in 2000, it was already an international training. And I guess that's the thing with this dream, that many of those who actually felt that there needs to be a space to be built felt that they can become part of making that dream a reality. And so a lot of the things that we talked about are actually indications and also manifestations and outcomes and results of how that dream have evolved from then in 1998 when we started, and then now fast forward in 2020. And so we talk about that the dream of those who believed in that particular space that would need to be created, but also of the many people throughout the history of MPI, 20 years now. Some have come and gone, carrying that. All were committed to carry that courage of really making this dream come true. And so we are taught in our fundamentals of peace building class that in peace building, we should think about sustainability. Peace building efforts need to be interdependent. It needs to be strategic. It needs to be comprehensive. Processes need to actually set up and establish infrastructures for peace building. And all of these things that are actually principles that we actually teach at MPI are actually lived out in the way that we are actually, again, the journey of MPI is actually a testament to how we've been able to actually intentionally move towards sustainability, interdependence, being strategic, being comprehensive, setting up the infrastructure, and more importantly, how we are able to actually celebrate, recognize, and give space for local resources for peace. And so some of the points that came out from that first conversation actually points to the strengths and also I think key features of MPI that we can actually continue as we move forward maybe 20 years after. First is that even before we were taught that peace building needs to be strategic, that it actually, if a peace builder would actually sustain and also would create transformative processes, one would actually need to be engaging the unlike-minded. And so I think all of us are very proud that MPI has really that space, that we do have a legacy of building connections with diverse actors, with different sectors, different ethnicity, different tribes, different religions. Those who are have, as Wendy said, have clashing perspectives, and we all do this in that one space. And it's really a common grounding of the different of these different persuasions, different views towards peace, different experiences. And I think part of the beauty of our own experiences of how transformation had happened is really out of this legacy of diversity that we've created. And we are very proud, although it's not written, and we are reminded by Babu that it's really important to document our stories of transformation, that some of the breakthroughs, for example, of training the military. So we had our first military generals who trained with us in 2005. In the succeeding years, we had representatives from the Moro Islamic Liberation Front who were part of the workshops, different groups that are actually are in the context of Mindanao, the key sectors that we needed to engage. And because of MPI, and I think it's a contribution of MPI, a lot of the transformation in the context of the Mindanao Peacebuilding and Mindanao Peace process had happened in some of those moments. Secondly, and this has been talked a lot about, and I guess this is a key feature that we need to bring forward as we move to another 20 years of MPI as an institute, is really this deep respect and recognition of local resources and wisdom. That MPI becomes that space that we talk about and also provide much recognition of local resources, local thinking, local initiatives that we need to think about, because we teach the peace building, the pyramid of peace building actors. We teach about that peace building would need to be top down, middle out, and bottom up. But in a lot of sense, most of the things that we do are really recognizing the importance and also the gift of doing bottom up processes. As one peace builder would say that if you look at the tree, the tree doesn't grow from the leaves to the bottom, towards the bottom. It grows from the ground up, and that's how we do peace building work. Secondly, thirdly, there's this point about MPI as a space where we are energized, where we get the full learning, not just inside the classroom but also outside. And so a lot of this is really recognizing, and it's really a testament that peace is really energy, as what we teach in our class. Conflict is energy, peace is also energy. And a lot of the things that we do at MPI is really energizing peace in us, in others, and collectively as a community. So it's dynamic, it creates movement, it nurtures learning collectively, but it also nurtures the learner, the individual. And so, as we say, that is where actually the depths of transformation and change happens, because it's really created out of that organic process. And so I think it was Babu who said that part of it is really this effect of energizing peace, because it's really the creation process, it's the cultivation process, and we get a lot of that in terms of the things that we do. So that has been the focus, no? And I think the overall gist and wisdom that we actually generated from the first conversation circle. The second conversation circle of the alumni, shout out to Sheku, to Manjula, Edril, and Terry, who I've not seen for a long time. Thank you for sharing your stories. And I think it's really like, much as we look at transformation and results in probably in metrics, no, when measure results of peace building, but when you think of it, the heart of everything that we do, and what would actually summarize our experience, is really the stories that we tell about MPI. And we really got a lot of again, inspiration from the stories that our alumni shared to us, and really pointing to us that the experience of transformation, the importance of connections during and after, uh, uh, even years and years after we maintain that connection, the learning, the actual learning that actually connects to our experiences and our context. And so that learning becomes very powerful when we take it back to our context, because we really do apply it. So we become the practitioners of the learnings that we actually get from MPI. And but more importantly, the as Adil was saying, like, it's really the values that we all create. It's not just the facilitators, not just the board, not just the staff, the volunteers, but all of us who are part of the MPI community create and celebrate values of joy, of kindness, of really this reflection of commitment for peace. We all understand that we are actually answering that call for us to become peace builders. The passion, the hope, and actually what inspires us in terms of our religious and spiritual motivations for our work for peace. This is what we get in terms of our whole peace, our whole MPI experience during the annual training events. But beyond that, we carry this wherever we go. And that is the story that our alumni is sharing with us, that by attending one or two annual training events, the story of MPI, or your being a graduate of MPI, continues because you continue to carry that seed of peace. And so we turn to the challenge that was shared uh, by our elders, by the facilitators board, and also the founders, part of the founding members of MPI, and challenge us of where do we want to go as an institution. And I do agree with the earlier conversations that we really did not think that we will actually reach 20 years. Because at that time we were just saying, like, let's do this. Let's do this every year. No matter what happens, let's do MPI every year. Because that is actually, we are responding to a need, not just in Mindanao, but in other contexts. And so I really, for me as a member of the board, I really take to heart the suggestion. And just to summarize the key points that we can probably look at as we move forward together. It's not just us, members of the board, but we are all part of actually again, the invitation for us to again start another canvas for the MPI dream for the next 20 years. So we are starting our canvas. The canvas for the last 20 years has it's almost done. We're actually moving towards finishing the touches of that wonderful canvas, and there is an invitation for us to start a new one. And I think part of what we can carry from the wisdom that was shared to us a while ago is first to really continue with what's working well, continue with the good traditions that actually has been making MPI as a transformative platform. It's because of the people within that actually drives MPI to move forward. The board, the staff, the volunteers, the alumni, everybody, and all the supporters, even the donors who have been with us for a long time supporting our initiative. So to continue that, as what Florina is saying, let's not forget, there are the good parts that we need to continue moving forward. But the more challenging part is how do we actually now move forward with the challenge of creating that alternative learning space. And the challenge for us is how do we become now a more active influence and advocate for a peace-building learning space that is actually defined and shaped by people who are actually working on the ground, which we are all part of. And so that is the vision of like, how do we move MPI from this informal, our kind of creative space? How do we now move forward with more our vertical process of being a more formalized institution, whereas the dream we can maybe in the future give out PhD programs, master's programs in peace building. That is a very lofty dream now, but it may not be lofty years after if we are all working together. So how do we systematize? How do we become more intentional? How do we actually become a serious space for theory building? Again, celebrating and also making sure, recognizing the wisdom of work from the ground, the indigenous knowledge of peace building and knowledge of the local peace building actors that we have been working with. And so to end, this is an invitation to all of us. I invite you in behalf of the MPI board, and I also would know that Chris and the staff is also very welcoming, inviting everybody, all the MPI stakeholders, become part of that process of let's move towards that direction where we are all in this, we are all dreamers now, we are all artists, we are all challenged, and we are all creators of what MPI can be in the next 20 years. And our challenge is how to actually create space that we would connect more people. How do we actually create a space where we can energize peace more and more? And how do we create a space where it's a nurturing space where there is individual, relational, structural, and cultural transformation? So we are all invited to that new canvas of dream for the next 20 years of MPI. So thank you once again in behalf of all the MPI stakeholders for being part of this event. And let's continue to carry that spirit of peace wherever we are.